Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name's Natalie and I do videos on handbag reviews, unboxings, a bit of luxury eye candy. So if you're into any of those, please consider subscribing. I'd love to have you back. So in today's video, I'll be revealing what I recently purchased from Louis Vuitton, and this item was actually on my luxury 2020 wish list. So if you guys have seen that, you may know what this is. It kind of made it to my luxury 2021 wish list, but not. If you haven't seen that video yet, I'll link that up here, but I did mention that I love this print and I don't own anything in this print. So I wanted to add anything in this print to my collection, but specifically in that 2021 wish list, my updated wish list, I mentioned something else. But when I saw this available online, I just had to snatch it up, and it was something on my 2020 wish list. So I thought I'll just get it, and I'm so glad that I finally added this piece to my collection, or this print to my collection. I have already unboxed it, just because I wanted to inspect it. And with this item, if you guys know Louis Vuitton, this item in particular is so notoriously known for having defects or issues with the craftsmanship of it. So I wanted to make sure it was okay and that I didn't need to send it back or anything. So I did inspect it and it's all good. There are just some minor things here and there that I want to share with you guys. Without further ado, let's just get straight to the reveal, and I'll show you what I purchased and then I'll go into more details about it. So the first thing that it came with is the receipt. It also came beautifully wrapped in the blue Louis Vuitton ribbon. And then the last thing in here is the item itself. So I'm sure by the size of this item or the box, you know what the item is. So the item just came in this beautiful drawer box, and it's got the little dust bag here with the item inside. So the item that I recently got from Louis Vuitton is the Louis Vuitton Key Pouch in the Damier Azur canvas. How pretty is this pattern and color? I just love this color. So as I mentioned, I don't own anything in the Damier Azur print from Louis Vuitton in my collection. No handbags, no other small leather goods. So I'm so excited to finally add this piece to my collection and this print to my collection. And the color of it is actually a lot different to what I've seen online. Like, I've seen a lot of videos and images of the Damier Azur print. I just thought it was a lot more white. I thought it was like a white and grey checkered, but in person, like, my lights are showing it as quite white. So on camera, it looks quite white and like grey, but in person, the white checkered parts are actually cream color. It's not a crisp white color. It's actually cream. It's more of like a yellow tone. And then the checkered parts here, like the darker ones, I thought were actually grey, but it's actually like a navy blue almost. And I think just contrast with the cream color background, that's what makes it look kind of grey. So it's actually like a blue and a cream checkered print. So that was just like, I was like mind blown when I saw this. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so different to what I actually thought. I don't know if you can see or if the camera's even picking it up. It probably just looks kind of like creamy and grey to you, but it's actually blue. So that's actually really cool. And I just love the light color of it, the white, compared to like the Damier Ebene, which is like that chocolate brown color from Louis Vuitton, and the LV Monogram Canvas. It's very different because they are very dark. I do have the Louis Vuitton Key Pouch in the Monogram Canvas, so I just love the contrast of the two. They're so cute. And I will go into more detail about all the differences that I've noticed anyway. I did actually do an unboxing of a newer version of the Louis Vuitton Monogram Canvas and compared it with my one. So I'll link that video up here if you haven't seen that yet. And I did a side-by-side comparison, everything with the exact same monogram print. Let's just do a quick overview of the key pouch in the Damier Azur print. So obviously the checkered print, it's like that cream and blue checkered print, and it just says Louis Vuitton in the corner there. And just on that side, and we've got the gold zipper that runs all the way down, and then inside we have the textile card. So it's just coated fabric calf leather interior lining, and we've got the iconic keychain that comes attached to it. So that's just like a beautiful gold coating. So you just pull it up and then out, so you can put your keys on here. And I have done a full in-depth review and all the different ways to use the Louis Vuitton Key Pouch. So I'll link that video up here if you haven't seen that yet either. But this piece is just so versatile, so I was happy to add another one to my collection. And I just wanted to add the Damier Azur print to my collection too. And the made in stamp's just on the side there. So it just says Louis Vuitton Paris, made in France. And That's the inside of it. So with the key pouches, if you haven't seen any of my previous videos, you may not know that there's like a few little tips and tricks to check that it's made well. And that's what I meant before by saying that it's notoriously known for having all these little defects and craftsmanship issues. So the first thing you want to pay attention to is obviously the stitching along the sides of it. So just make sure that the sides are really tightly stitched together and that the patterns align with one another. So that looks pretty good to me, like the squares actually match up with each other. And the next check to make sure that it's tightly stitched together is having a look on the inside. So when you open it up, you'll notice at the bottom, the stitching at the bottom there, there's actually no gaps or any holes. I've seen others online where they open it up and you can actually see light coming through it, and that's just from the stitching being quite loose, and you can actually see the threads. So this one's actually really nicely stitched together. It's super tight, so that's good. So that won't wear as easily, whereas if it's loosely stitched, it may slowly come apart or just wear a lot quicker. So that's the second thing to look out for. The next thing to look out for is to make sure that the zipper goes all the way to the end. See how this one here, it's got the two little holes there, so this could have gone a little bit further to the end. I'll show you my one, for example. So this one is really old. It's like the one that's 5 to 6 years old. See how, comparing them side by side there, see how my one goes all the way to the end of the pouch. This one goes all the way, probably like, it's probably like 0.5 millimeter off, and you can see the holes there. So that kind of stood out to me. I mean, it's not a huge deal and it's not a major defect or anything. It's just the way that it was made. They just didn't go all the way in, and it's, as I said, it's only a very small tiny hole, so I don't think anything would ever fall out. But I have seen others where the actual gold part there is actually a bit lower, so the hole here is quite big, and if you had like a bobby pin, for example, or just something small and thin, it could potentially fall out. So with that one, I think that's okay. The next thing to look out for is the keychain, just making sure there's no scuffs or scratches already, just because it is, if you are buying it brand new, you don't want it to be scuffed up or anything. I know over time with my one, the gold does chip away and you can kind of see silver. You probably can't see on the camera, but it's still shiny, but it's just kind of the silver's peeking through. But you just make sure that the gold is all intact when it's brand new, and also making sure that the mechanism works well. So just pulling it up and open just so you can hook your keys onto it. I can tell that I can feel the spring a little bit, whereas with this one here, my older version, it's super smooth. Like, it's hard to explain. You just kind of have to feel it in person. Whereas this, I can kind of feel the spring. It's a bit tight. I don't know if that'll loosen over time or if it may wear quicker, just because I can feel the spring, but it's not a huge deal. I mean, it works fine. And I rarely use the keychain. I will if I want to attach my keys or like my car key to it, but I try not to anymore because of the wear issue, like the chipping of the gold. So I try not to use this. I think it's more just like a cute little decorative piece, and it just comes in handy if you do ever need it. And obviously making sure that the zipper is smooth. But with all Louis Vuitton pieces, especially with like smaller pieces like this, smaller leather goods, the zips are generally really smooth anyway, so there's no issue with that. Yeah, they're the main things to look out for when you are purchasing, or when you do purchase the Louis Vuitton key pouch. The main thing that I would kind of keep my mind or be aware of is just the stitching, just making sure it's tight and even. And especially with the Monogram canvas, if you do purchase the Monogram one, making sure that the fleur-de-lis or the patterns here line up with one another. So yeah, that's the overview of the Louis Vuitton key pouch in the Damier Azur canvas. Unfortunately, I purchased this right after the Louis Vuitton price increase, which is so unfortunate because these small leather goods, like the really hard to find items like the key pouch, the pochette accessoire and the mini pochette, as well as a few others, they went up in price so much. The increase was just insane. Before the price increase, this little key pouch was $300, which is still pretty expensive for just a small little pouch like this, but for Louis Vuitton it was actually pretty affordable. It was like one of the entry-level pieces. But after the price increase, this went up to $360, so it went up $60. This is Australian dollars, so that was just insane. And the mini pochette went up even more, and the pochette accessoire went up even more. So it was just crazy how much these items went up in price, but as soon as I saw it online, I was just add to cart straight away, checked out. So I was really lucky to actually find this available on the website. I was actually looking for something else on the Louis Vuitton website. I have the pochette accessoire on my wish list, so that was actually on my 2021 wish list. So I want to add that to my collection, but I do have this just saved on my wish list on the Louis Vuitton website anyway. And I just kind of go through during random times of the day to see when things are available. And this was actually available. It was like a Sunday afternoon around 2:30 p.m. I saw that it was add to shopping bag. I was like, quickly, I need to add this to my shopping bag. And I was like, is this a glitch? I don't know if it's a glitch. I added it to my shopping bag and it was there, and I went to checkout and everything just went super smoothly, and I just got the confirmation email about like 10 seconds later. So I was so happy to finally add this piece to my collection. I think I did actually see it online again for around Tuesday night, like 7:30 p.m. It popped up again. So it was only like a 2-day wait for another piece to come out. So I think they are, like Louis Vuitton are slowly restocking these really hard to find pieces. So hopefully if you guys are eyeing this piece or one of these really hard to find pieces, you can find one soon. Just check on random times of the day. Like, you don't have to stalk it. If I know stalking does help, like if you stalk the website, but I just don't have the time to do that or the energy to do that. So I just check the website randomly whenever I have a spare minute, like if I'm waiting for something or if I'm cooking something and then there's like a waiting time, I just check it, and it takes like 10 seconds. Just because I have everything saved on my wish list, I literally just load the Louis Vuitton website. It's already like a recent, like a bookmark on my phone. So I just save it there and go to my wish list, and then I just click through each item on my wish list, and a lot of the times they just call for availability. But on the one off chance, there might be one that says add to shopping cart, and that's when you just act instantly. Just make sure that you are logged into your account, the Louis Vuitton website account, and also make sure that your credit card details and your address and everything are saved on your account. It makes checking out so much quicker, because if you're there fumbling around trying to find your credit card number and then you're typing in your address, they just sell out within minutes, probably like within seconds actually. So there's hundreds and hundreds of people eyeing these pieces from Louis Vuitton, like the key pouch, the mini pochette and pochette accessoire. So if you're fumbling around trying to find your credit card and entering in your details, there's a high chance that someone else, a very, very high chance, or 100% chance actually, that someone else who already has all the details saved has already checked out and purchased it. So all they need to do is press like 3 buttons and they've got it. Whereas you're spending a minute here trying to find your card, and then a minute here entering your details, and then another minute submitting your details. It just takes a long time. So I highly recommend having all your details saved just to get these really hard to find pieces. So yeah, that's how I managed to score this piece, and I couldn't be happier with it. I will say that I do notice that the canvas is really, really soft. Like, look how pliable and like bendy that is. It's just like rubber. It's just so soft. Whereas comparing it with my one here, this one is, I can't even like do a wave with it. I did mention this in my comparison and unboxing of another one that I purchased. This is just so soft. So I just wonder how this will wear over time. I will say that because it is a lot softer, I probably can fit a lot more cards in here compared to this one. I mean, this one still fits a lot of cards, but it is just a lot more stiff. This is held up really well, by the way, so I do kind of miss the harder canvas of Louis Vuitton pieces, but I mean, I guess this is the way that they're going with their pieces now, and there's nothing we can do about it. So yeah, that's the major difference that I see between the two. I was thinking of getting the Damier Ebene print, and I did actually own the Damier Ebene print many, many years ago, even before I purchased the Louis Vuitton, the Monogram Canvas one. But I just didn't really fall in love with it. Like, it didn't spark joy to me, like the print of it. For me, I've, over the years, collecting Louis Vuitton items and handbags and small leather goods, I've noticed that I gravitate more towards Damier Ebene prints, so that checkered brown print in like a larger handbag. Whereas with the small leather goods, because you just get a little bit of like a splash of Monogram Canvas, I love the look of it. I like how there's only like one LV logo there. And for example, I have my mini pochette here, and it's just got like 2 LV logos. So I think I prefer it in small leather goods, so just like a splash of it. Whereas with if I was to get like a Monogram Neverfull or a Speedy, they'll have so much LVs all over it, and I'm just not a big fan of it. I mean, it's pretty, but it's just not to my taste. So that's why I actually sold the Damier Ebene print of the key pouch many years ago, and then probably like a year or so later I purchased the key pouch, or in the Monogram Canvas. But yeah, I was actually thinking of maybe getting the Damier Ebene print again, just so I can have the whole collection, like the trifecta as people call it, of all the prints in the key pouches. But with the crazy price increase, with it being $360 now, I just can't justify it. And especially because I don't love it, I feel like if you are going to spend this much money on something like this, you need to be in love with it, you need to love it, you need to use it all the time just to get your cost per wear down. I'm all for getting cost per wear down on all these items. So as much as I'd love to add the Damier Ebene print to complete the trifecta, I just can't justify spending that much for something I don't really love. So whereas with these two, I absolutely love this. I love the monogram print on the key pouch. I love how like elegant that is, and also the print of the Damier Azur piece. Yeah, that's all for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to see you back in future videos. I have a lot more content planned, so stay tuned for that. But until then, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!